Hey everyone, this is Angie at StampingWithAmore. Welcome to my channel. Today is card day and we are doing a technique card. It's a little bit more involved, so the video may be a little bit longer, but stick with me because it's so worth it on this. This is called partial embossing. It's been so long since I've done one like this, but I needed to make a birthday card for my sister and I wanted it to be super special. But can you see how this is not embossed here, but the outside is? I'm going to make mine a little bit wider, the next one that I do. But I also stamped the inside for her, just as to my wonderful sister, wishing you every happiness this special day will bring. So this is the card for her, and I'm going to do the exact same thing, and I'm going to show you how to do the embossing resist technique. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to start out by showing you what I'm using for this. So I grabbed the back of the Stampin'Up. This is actually doubled. But I grabbed the back of the cardboard piece that's in the back, and I believe it was in our 12 by 12, and I cut it down to 5.5 by 4.25 each piece. And out of the first one, I'll show you what I'm using for this because you'll understand why it's oval. And so this is the framed florets that I'm using. I'm also using the cane weave embossing folder, but I'm using the full bundle of this, which this oval die comes in as well. So it comes in this set with this other oval here. We are going to be cutting, and I've got the dies out to cut out the flowers and the leaves and all that. So this is what we're using to cut the oval in this. Now you can use any shape you want. You can use a circle, you can use whatever you like, but I wanted to use just the one bundle, so I'm making it the oval. And then, of course, the embossing folder is the one of your choice. So I already cut the first one in here. You may have to run it through a few times. I had to actually put a shim in mine so that it would cut through. And I ran it through like 4 times back and forth to get this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the exact same thing because you need a pretty good thickness. It won't emboss with just this one thickness. These are not that thick. They're pretty thick, but not quite that thick. It does take a bit for this to even go through, so you don't want to use anything because you don't want to mess up your embossing machine. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to place my other one right inside there because you want it to be exactly right, and make sure these are nice and even and they're the same. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a pencil. I'm going to just do this, and then I'm going to do the outside as well. It just helps me to know exactly where to put this next one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this as the top. I'm just going to put a T there for top because you want to make sure when you put this back together, I'm putting a T on this one, you want to line the top with the top. You don't want to have it upside down because they're not going to match perfectly. They need to match perfectly. So I'm not going to run this through again because I already have one, but I'm going to line that up, and then you're going to run this one through the cut and emboss again. And then when you bring them back, you're going to line them up, and I have one I already did here. So you're going to line them up, and they're going to match perfectly because you kept the top with the top. I hope that makes sense. All right, and then I just put a little piece of tape on the top there just to keep it together. And what you're going to do is I have a piece of basic white cardstock, and this piece is 5.25 by 4. This is going to be the top of our card. So you're going to put that in like you normally do on your in your folder, and then this is going to go on top here. But you want to make sure that it is even, and do it by turning this over. And you can line up the edges here, and you can see if you've got that perfectly centered. And then sometimes I'll just put a piece of tape on there to hold it, just some regular tape. And I just messed it up, I just moved it. So I'm going to do that again, make sure that it is where I want it. And you don't even have to do this, you can just hold it there. And then I'm going to run this through the cut and emboss but I'm going to show you how you're going to run it through. So I'm going to bring the cut and emboss here. Okay, so what you want to do is you don't want to use your 2, you just want to use the number 1, and you're going to lay your embossing folder with this on the top, and then I use my number 3 plate on top there. And this is how you're going to run it through. And it's pretty tight, but you want it that way. So I'm going to tell you again how to do that. With the 1, the embossing plate with your template on top, and then the number 3 plate. And then when you open this, you are going to have this right here. It doesn't emboss this because of this template that you make. So that's what you get there, and it's so pretty. Yes, you can cut an oval and stick it there. It doesn't give the same effect though, y'all. You need to try this because it's so good. It's such a good, and it looks so professional. You're gonna wanna try it. Okay, so what we're gonna do with this now is we're gonna stamp it, and I'm going to grab my piece that I'm gonna stamp my flowers on. So I'm gonna stamp those first with Memento, because we're gonna color them with the blends. You can color this with your colored pencils, with your blends, anything that you love to color with. But you know, blends are always my favorite, so I always grab those. And then we're gonna do this one, and we're gonna do one of the small flowers here. And I'm gonna stamp directly on here the sentiment. I did the birthday card there for my sister, but you can use any of these sentiments on here. I think they're all beautiful. This would be really nice. Thank you with all my heart for a special person on a special day. You can use any of these sentiments. But I'm going to go ahead and do another birthday one, because you know you can always use birthday cards. And we're going to stamp this right in the center part that is not embossed. So try to make sure that it's centered. I usually hold it there a minute because it's a larger stamp, and I want to make sure that it stamps good. So there we go. All right, so we got that right there. Let's color these. I'm using very simple coloring here. I'm just using light and dark Highland Heather, and then I'm using a little bit of the Daffodil Delight for the center, and I'm using Old Olive for the leaves. But you can color this anyway. I know my sister loves purple, so that is why I'm doing this. And I'm just going to go ahead and color these. I'll go ahead and zoom in. I may speed this up, I'm not sure, because you've seen me color quite a bit. But I know some of you like to see flowers colored, so I might just leave it in at regular time. So I'm just going to use the light first. I'm only doing one at a time. I'm not going to do like all of these. I'm going to, because I want to blend a little bit of this. And then the one that is flipped over, this one here, and on the edges, we're going to use the dark. So I'll go ahead and do that, because that's the outside of the flower. And then I'm going to just do along these edges here in the centers, because this is underneath. And then we're just going to blend that one in first. And I'm just going to leave that like that. And then let's do the other one. This is the light again. And then I'm just going to do the dark again on that little flap part. And then I'm going to do the ones that are behind, do some in the centers. And then I'm just going to blend that one. It really blends really nice when you do it right away. And then I'm going to just take some of the dark Old Olive and I'm going to just do some of the lines in these bigger leaves here. Whenever I speed through, I always have people saying that they want to see the coloring. So, and I've asked before and a lot want to see it. So I'll probably leave it in. And if you don't care about the coloring, then skip through that part. But it's so pretty. And then I'm going to use the light just on these here. This is such a pretty stamp set. I love these flowers too. And I think I mentioned before that I have to really love a flower stamp set to get it. And this one and that new Irresistible Blooms. Oh, I love that. By the way, the Irresistible Blooms, the dies are not available right now. They're already sold, but it is coming back, so be patient with that. Okay, we're going to do this one the same way. And then I'm going to do the edges like I showed before, these little edges. Sorry about that. My ring keeps going off. And then I'm going to do inside here, the ones that are behind, and then we're going to do some centers here. And I'll just blend that quickly, and then we'll do the other leaves, and we will be done with the coloring. So I'm going to use the dark first because I'm just going to do some of the vein parts. My husband's out there mowing. That's why my ring keeps going off. And then these right here. The coloring actually goes pretty quickly on this one because there's not a whole lot. And it's so pretty. I really enjoy coloring these. All right, so that is it. I'm going to take the dies that go with this right here, and I'm going to run these through the cut and emboss, and I'll be right back with that. Okay, so here are our beautiful flowers. Aren't they pretty, y'all? I'm going to zoom back out. I almost forgot, and you know how I am. I'm terrible at that. All right, so we're just going to add this. First, we're going to put our inside of this. This piece is 5 1/4 by 4, as is this piece on the outside. Everything will be in the inspiration sheet. So check it out on my blog at StampingWithAmore.com. You can download it and print it. This is going on the inside. I'll probably use this for someone else's birthday. Oops. So I am not going to put an inside sentiment at the moment. And then we're going to put this down. You can pop this up if you want, but I'm just going to do it flat because of the dimension on the embossing folder. I'm just not going to pop it up. Just going to put it like this. But I am using Stampin' Seal Plus because the embossing usually stays a whole lot better with when it's embossed. Isn't that pretty though? Even just like that, it's so simple and plain. But we're going to make it more beautiful, and we're going to use dimensionals on these. Now, if you're going to mail this, you can just glue it down. It'll save on your postage. But so pretty popped up. If you care about that, some people don't care about the postage. I'm going to glue this flat, the leaves right here. We're going to put that on this side. And then we're going to pop up this flower, but we forgot to color the inside of that with our Daffodil Delight, but I'll do that here in a second. So I'm just going to add, I forgot to add that. And then that is it, y'all. That's it. Isn't that pretty? I hope you enjoyed this one because it's so fun, and you could just use any shape. But if you want to recreate this card, just use the Frame Florets bundle and you will all be set to go. All right, everyone, if you need any supplies, you can shop on my blog at stampingwithamore.com. Use my hostess code. I would appreciate it very much. So thank you, and I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later, everyone. Bye.